Suddenly, it feels like Russian products are popping up everywhere in cities across China. But I could tell you with confidence, 98%, if not more, of these so-called Russian goods are fake. If you like buying Russian food, pay attention. There's a big difference between Russian-flavored products and actual imports from Russia. One important thing to know is that Russia's light industry isn't as developed as China's, so there's no way they're exporting large amounts of food to China. What even is this? I've never heard of these so-called Russian brands until I came to China.
Known for its reputation as the knockoff capital, China can replicate almost anything. Recently, hundreds of Russian goods supermarkets have sprung up across the country, but when Russians themselves visit their stores, they find many brands they've never seen back home. Most of the products are fake, made in China, and poorly written Russian labels and hefty price tags.
Let
me show you how Chinese people are tricking each other. I visited a Russian goods store in Shanghai and none of the products were actually from Russia. This doesn't exist in Russia. No, filming isn't allowed here. This isn't Russian either. We only sell authentic Russian products here. What are you trying to do? This chocolate? I've never seen this in Russia. Get them out of here. They won't let me film, probably because they're afraid of losing customers. One of the clerks told me filming isn't allowed, but there are no signs anywhere saying that. Don't come here. Don't assume it's a real Russian store. On January 2nd, 2025, a Russian vlogger filmed a video exposing counterfeit Russian goods being sold in a store in China. Store employees were visibly unhappy, repeatedly trying to stop her and even threatening to throw her out. The vlogger, however, refused to stop filming, determined to reveal the truth. More employees rushed over to block her, and eventually she was forced out of the store. The video quickly went viral, sparking widespread discussion online. Many viewers criticized the store, calling it an insult to consumers' intelligence. Some jokes, "You're the only real Russian thing in that entire store," and others called her a true international friend. A viewer from Beijing commented, praising the vlogger, "She deserves recognition. None of the products in these stores are from Russia. I told the staff at a Russian goods store near Tiananmen that none of their items were actually Russian." Another viewer remarked that this reflects disappointment in domestic products. It's not just about foreign countries rejecting Chinese food. Many of us don't want to buy it either, and we all know why. This is not an isolated case. In recent years, stores claiming to sell Russian imports have rapidly expanded across China. Many of these so-called imported products are actually low-quality goods with misleading labels and packaging designed to deceive consumers. On December 24th, 2024, a local from Yunnan took his Russian girlfriend to a store labeled as selling authentic Russian goods. The moment she stepped inside, she said, "These are all fake." She complained that she couldn't even understand the Russian labels on the packaging. The video shows shelves stocked with Russian sausages, but closer inspection reveals that they were made in China in Heilongjiang. Most of the products in the store were made in China and prices were significantly inflated. The Russian woman found chocolates from Russia but noted that they were far more expensive than back home. Holding up a chocolate bar, she said, "This costs around 10 yuan in Russia." At the store, it was priced at 68 yuan. She also pointed out errors in the Russian translations on the packaging. Holding up a sausage, she said, "I can't understand it. Who wrote this?" She then pointed out to a jar of so-called Russian honey, explaining that its color suggested it was mostly sugar, not honey. The store also stocked unusual items like durian candy, coffee, and tropical fruit products, further raising doubts about authenticity. A Chinese blogger filming the store commented that Russia's cold climate makes it unlikely to produce tropical fruit products. The rise of Russian goods stores began in the summer of 2024. These stores often feature blue and white storefronts with large Russian signs and banners. Inside, they sell products labeled as Russian imports, ranging from snacks and alcohol to beauty products and grains. Some Chinese consumers curious to try the products have noticed that many items are not from Russia. A significant number come from trade companies in Heilongjiang, and products marketed as Ukrainian candy or Turkish chocolates are often made in China. At the same time, franchise opportunities for Russian goods stores have surged. A search for Russian goods on corporate registration platform shows over 900 companies established within the past year. In addition to store named Russian Goods Pavilion, new chains like Russian Bear and Northern Russian Bear have emerged. On platforms like Xiaohongshu and Chinese TikTok Douyin, a co-founder of Russian Bear stated that the chain store in Changsha made 100,000 yuan in its first 3 days. Despite being only 160 square meters, the gross profit margin exceeded 50%. In another video, he revealed that daily sales at other stores exceeds 10,000 yuan, and exclusive franchise rights for many provinces had already been sold. He urged investors to act quickly, highlighting that a small 100 square meter store could generate over 900,000 yuan annually with an initial investment of 400,000 to 500,000 yuan. Records show that Russian Bear International Trade Wuhan was established in December 2023, with its first store opening in March 2024. The brand's rapid expansion is evident. In less than a year, Russian Bear has opened over 110 stores across China. Franchise representative claimed the brand has been involved in Russian goods trade for years, offering over 8,000 products, introducing more than 100 new items each month. They promote quick store setups and fast returns, promising that stores can open within 12 to 20 days and break even in as little as 3 months. Another franchise representative stated that Russian supermarket profit margins could reach 40 to 60%. For example, chocolate with a wholesale price of 5 to 6 yuan could retail for 15 yuan or more, doubling the profit. In comparison, Chinese snack brands typically have profit margins between 10% and 30%. The high profits of Russian goods stores are attracting franchisees. Driven by aggressive franchise expansion and high margins, Russian goods stores are rapidly entering commercial districts, much like bubble tea shops and snack chains did previously. However, the surge in popularity has brought with it controversy and criticism. On social media, many consumers have shared their experiences claiming they were misled by these stores. Some reported that products labeled as Russian imports were actually made in China, and ingredient lists revealed numerous additives. Others noted that even Russians had never seen these so-called Russian products. A video posted by a vlogger revealed that so-called Russian beef sausages are neither produced in Russia nor made from Russia beef. They were made from Chinese domestic chicken. The most striking part is that the ingredient list openly states chicken. As for additives, the blogger described them as excessive to an absurd degree. The vlogger added that calling it junk food might not even do it justice. In February last year, police arrested individuals producing counterfeit Russian milk powder in small workshops across China. A vlogger who exposed the operation revealed that these workshops were spread across Henan, Anhui, and Heilongjiang. Garages and other spaces had been converted into production facilities, some hidden in residential areas and others in busy urban centers. Powders were scattered across floors and workbenches with raw materials and packaging stored together. These low-cost counterfeit products, which contained no real milk, flooded the market and undercut genuinely high-quality milk powder. Industry insiders disclosed that some Chinese businesses profit by engaging in a practice known as re-export. Large bags of milk powder are exported to Russia, processed briefly, and then imported back into China under the label of imported goods. This allows Chinese factories to manufacture products that appear to be Russian imports. One viewer commented noting that not only are the advertisement and origins made up, but even the products themselves are fabricated. The future of the Russian goods market is now being questioned. As more scandals surrounding Russian goods stores surface, some industry insiders predict that many of these stores will shut down next year. A Chinese food industry analyst, Zhu Danpen, explained that the rapid expansion of Russian goods stores is not without problems. Some products are misrepresented while others are exported and re-imported to artificially recreate the appearance of being foreign. Zhu emphasized that long-term success for these stores relies on product quality, and without it, the stores cannot survive. The current surge in openings appears to be a short-term rush for quick profits. Lax enforcement by Chinese regulatory authorities regarding counterfeit goods has contributed to low international confidence in Chinese products. Some Chinese businesses falsely market domestic goods as imports by re-registering companies abroad and selling these products domestically as imported items. On January 4th, a man surnamed Zhang discovered a large quantity of counterfeit shampoo at a foreign trade supermarket in Qingdao, Shandong. Outraged by what he found, Zhang caused a scene in the store. He knocked all the shampoos off the shelves without hesitation. Nearby customers stood frozen in shock. Store staff quickly arrived at the scene, but Zhang's frustration showed no signs of subsiding. Kicking the bottles on the ground, he pointed at the staff and shouted,
"Get your manager here. This is fake. I'm telling you, it's all fake. I went to Japan. This so-called brand is from an abandoned factory. It was registered in Japan 2 years ago. You just pay to register it. It's that simple. You get it? This brand doesn't even exist in Japan. They're selling it online now, claiming it's some 100-year-old Japanese national brand. When I show the photos to Japanese customers, they told me this wasn't made in Japan. Look at the Japanese text on the packaging. There are mistakes everywhere. When we went to Japan, we found the place. It was nothing but a rundown little workshop filled with stacks of wooden pallets. There wasn't a single piece of production equipment, except for some old machines used for making cosmetics. Even the sign for the brand was hanging crooked, not even properly displayed. The address sign was hidden behind a utility pole, like they were trying to keep it out of sight.
This video shows a busy supermarket with many customers browsing the personal care section at the time. According to Zhang, this was not the first time he discovered counterfeit products at this supermarket. Previous complaints had been made, but the response from the store management were unsatisfactory. Investigations revealed that most of the shampoos were produced in fake factories with no traceable information on their origins. Even the products named were transliterations of Japanese words. The so-called horse oil brand was simply a phonetic rendering in Chinese. Adding to the frustration, not only were these products counterfeit, but they were sold at high prices, seemingly targeting unsuspecting Chinese consumers. After the video surfaced, many viewers voiced their support for Zhang's actions, calling for stronger enforcement against counterfeit goods and urging the stricter regulations of imported products. One viewer commented, "I have been using Free Plus face wash for a long time. When I tried to buy it in Tokyo, the store told me it was discontinued years ago." There are also so many Australian brands that no one over there actually uses. I've never even seen some of them in stores. This happens all the time. The worst areas are full of fake origins, Russian imported foods, Japanese Shiseido, and American health supplements. Most of these brands are created by Chinese people overseas and then sold back to the domestic market. Is there anything left that's real these days? Food, drinks, or products we use? A senior professional with over 10 years of experience in international trade told mainland media that many foreign brands sold online are fake, produced by contract manufacturers after simply registering a company. He noted that counterfeit production by domestic factories and fake goods sold by overseas distributors have severely damaged the entire imported goods supply chain. Meanwhile, domestic merchants are either unaware they are importing counterfeit products or knowingly turn a blind eye. Cosmetics, bags, shoes, watches, and wine are the hardest hit sectors. One lesser known fact is that most counterfeit imports are actually produced in China, not in the country they claim to be from. The majority of these counterfeit factories are concentrated in smaller cities across Fujian, Guangdong, and Jiangsu, Zhejiang. Strictly speaking, most luxury goods, imported cosmetics, and health supplements sold on domestic e-commerce platforms are counterfeit. These products are sourced from overseas distributors, and the import channels often have irregularities. For one, most buyers cannot distinguish between genuine and fake products. Even when they know the goods are fake, they still purchase them. This is partly because buyers receive kickbacks, and partly because fake goods allow them to lower prices and stay competitive in the domestic market. For domestic merchants, when negotiating with overseas distributors, they can only verify business licenses and credentials. There is no effective way to confirm the authenticity of the goods. So why is counterfeit production so widespread in China? Although the Chinese government has introduced numerous laws and regulations to combat counterfeit goods, enforcement remains a significant issue. Corruption and tax enforcement among some officials and agencies have allowed counterfeit manufacturing and sales to flourish. In many cases, local government prioritizes economic growth over cracking down on fake goods, allowing the problem to persist. Essentially, the Chinese government often fails to enforce these regulations. When issues arise, money can often resolve them, and some enforcement officials prioritize profit over law enforcement. Chinese author Mr. Chu commented that counterfeiting is widespread across China, driven by the pursuit of maximizing profit and short-term thinking. He added that little attention is paid to reputation or integrity. According to Chu, social and economic instability fosters this speculative mindset. In a politically and economically unstable environment, wealth feels insecure and safety is not guaranteed. This environment fuels a focus on quick gains and disregard for long-term credibility. Under the governance of the Chinese Communist Party, Chu remarked, social unrest makes survival difficult, pushing many businesses to prioritize profit at the expense of commercial integrity and consumer health.